Okay, so in this video we're going to take our Alex at run that we saved. We're going to, really it's still a walk, and we're going to tweak it so our walk is a run. Okay, so let's go to frame 1, and you'll notice here that the picture on the side has changed. This is also on my website, so if you want to grab this image. If you have any interest in becoming a really great animator, buy the Richard Williams book. I bought it. I bought the video series, which cost me a pretty good chunk of money. My college has it as well, but I feel like with the wealth of information available. All right, so we're going to power through this run. We're going to try to knock it out in 10 minutes like our other one. So first thing I want to do is analyze this first pose. This is 1 in 25. And you'll notice right off the bat, our guy is bent over slightly. So I'm going to bend him over on my x-axis. So I'm selecting rotate x, middle milling in. And I'm going to do 12 here. It looks like a good number. And I want to remember that number because 25 must also. And a trick is I can click the middle wheel on 25 here. If I click the middle wheel around, notice that the animation doesn't change. But if I left click, the animation updates. So I want to first click here on 1 and then middle wheel on 25 and hit S to set a key. So that'll copy almost that key over. I'm going to select this back leg, hit W, bring that foot up, zero out my foot roll. Oh, looks like I'm doing it on 25. That's okay. You know what, we'll do it on 25, and then I'll middle wheel click again on this one to set it. So I'm going to remove foot roll here at this point, and I'm going to go with my toe raise again. Alright, and I'm just going to place it sort of in a position that looks like my image here. I'm just using this reference. Alright, set a key, and then I'm going to middle mouse. And again, you don't necessarily have to hit S like I just did. We have auto key on. So I'm middle wheeling on 1. I'm going to hit S to set a key here. So here's 1. Let's go to our 4. And really it's a conglomerate of these two poses here. So what I normally do is I just sort of find a kind of a middle ground here. So something like this. So here's our 1, here's our 4. 7 is sort of done for us, except he starts to straighten up. So let's take our X down to 5. And let's bring him down a little bit. So here's our 7. And what you'll notice is somewhere in here, around frame 11, he leaps off the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and make this on frame 10. I'm going to pull him off the ground. I'm going to position this foot in the back. And then this foot forward more. Right? And so we get something that looks like this. And actually I'm going to go ahead and delete the key on 7 here. So we get something that looks like this. Where he plants on 13. And then I want to make sure on 1. On 1 his translate is 0 here. Oops. Sorry. I want to look at this guy. I want to make sure on 1 that his Y is on 0 here. Ooh, actually we should bring him down lower. Here's 1. So we'll make that minus 0.5. We want to make sure on 13 it is also minus 0.5. And then on 24 it is also minus 0.5. So here's our movement. So here's 1. He's going through. On 4 he starts to go shrink down. Let's make sure that our Y on this is 0. There we go. Leaps in the air. Plants on 13. Alright. And 13 really is the inverse of 1. So you can see the back leg is there. On 13, I'm going to remove my foot roll. I'm going to go with the toe raise again. It's going to move that back and up. And we're taking a little creative freedom. If you feel scared or lost, notice that this is 1.3 and this is minus 44. All you have to do is go back in and look at it and say, okay, on 1, right, so let's move this up a little bit. And again, we're going to copy this pose here. So say we do 0.2 here, 0.3 here, and minus 2 here, right? Let's do minus 3. or minus 1.5 to minus 3 is good. That's what I want. Yeah. 2.5. Sorry. So minus 2.5. Okay, so as long as you can remember these numbers, 0.2, 0.3, minus 2.5, you can select this back leg and type 2, or I'm sorry, minus 2. Oh, actually, let's just zero that out. I guess it's not necessary. Let's see what. 0.2. What did I have there? Yeah, 0.2. See. 0.3. Really, it could be. It should. I think it should be minus 0.3. Oops, wrong foot. Minus 0.3. No, it should be 0.3. And the last one was minus 0.25. There we go. So you'll have it in essentially the same spot, just inverted. All right. And on 13, I do like to really show that his foot is falling here, that his body is kind of collapsing a little bit on that fall. So we'll do minus 0.8 on the y across these three. And minus 0.8. So we get this. All right. So let's just look at 1 through 13. You'll notice that his foot stays grounded on 4, right? And we have it where his foot is floating. So we want to make sure that we fix that. So let's get rid of foot brake. Let's get rid of our toe raise here. So we're doing something like this. Same thing here. This foot doesn't leave the ground yet, right? It just moves to the back. So on 7, we want to get rid of any sort of translation on y, and we want to remove foot brake, and we want to remove toe raise. So our foot is staying on the ground and sliding across. And then on 10, he leaps in the air. So we have this sort of... And you want to check it. I mean, his foot gets way back there. We have him leaping about halfway. So we can, at this point, really bring that foot down on 10 to accentuate that leap in the air on 13. There we go. Boom. All right. All right, now let's tackle frame 16, which we know is really just 4 inverted. So 16 means this other foot should be 0 and 1. Should be completely flat at this point. So we're on 13 to 16. You can see the foot stays flat. And again, I'm only tackling that foot. It helps to keep it. And again, if this is your first run, 19, again, same thing here. Flatten out that foot on 19 because we're doing the inverse. No toe raise at this point. Just sort of pulling it back. If you want to, you can add a little foot roll to kind of show that he's coming off his toe. And he leaps in the air and lands on 25. Alright, so let's go to 1 here. I'm noticing a little bit more and more that I kind of want him to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to select all of these, middle mouse click on 25 and hit S to set a key so I can make sure that they're both the same, so it loops. And then on 1, again, I want to make sure if I have this, I'm going to Control C, copy that on Translate Y, go to 13, paste it, but it's the inverse, so here, let's do that one more time. Copy, 13, paste, and I want to make sure that that's a positive number. Oops, no, I want to make sure it's exactly the same. There we go, yeah. So let's press play here. Alright. Since we have about 30 seconds left, I'm going to try to, I want to sort of cover like a little bit, doing a little bit better of a run here. So 7, let's pull the weight over. Same thing. We're going to pull the weight over. He leaps in the air. Looks like his knee kind of flips out there. And that's due to these two guys here. So I want to make sure that they're pulled completely forward. Those are his pull vector handles. Alright. So we have this going on 7, and that means on the inverse, $19. I'll pull the hips over here. All right. Looks like he's got a little bit of a kickback on that foot here. So here's 16. I think that's the problem. It should just be that's a little better. Again, this is 19 right here, so there we go. Alright, again, if you want a much better run, I have a tutorial on my site that covers blocking out a run and splining it and all that stuff. Alright, so I'm going to hit Control S to save this one. And what we'll do in this one, actually, while I have it, is I'm just going to open up my initial pose, which is just the Alex one. Let's save this one more time. And I'm going to do File, Save Scene As, Alex at idle. Hit continue. Alright. I'm going to hit, let's remove this for a second. Select everything, hit S to set a key on 1. Make sure auto key is on. And we're going to do a quick idle. So I don't like to start my idles like a real idle, like him looking around or anything like that. So let's do 96 frames. Okay, so this initial pose here, I'm going to set a key on 1. I'm going to set a key on 96. Okay, so I don't like to really get any real animation until like a second into it. So on frame 1, what I'm just going to simply do is every 5 frames, I'm just going to simulate like a sort of like basic pose where he's just kind of moving up, down. And if you want to, you can even just do like a breathing. Or like on 15 he's here, 10 he's slightly forward, 5 he's here. And so once I hit 20, I hit 24 frames. So that means the person really isn't doing anything. And you can make these as long as you want. He starts to turn a little bit. I go back up to 30. He looks right. Maybe he looks back at you to try to figure out, like, why aren't we playing? Why aren't we doing anything? 35, maybe I'll have him go back. He kind of moves his arm up. Sort of looks down. I don't know. Checks. Here, let's set a key on 40 for this, or 50. So it's locked in place. 60, he kind of looks down. lifts his foot. Leans over. I don't know, he scratches his leg. Okay, so this is a really quick, and then it ends up back on 96. So let's press play here. Alright. I might bring his foot down a lot sooner than that. So let's go 5 frames in. There we go. Okay, I'm going to hit Control S to save that idle. The last thing we're going to do is a jump in the next video, and then we'll take it into Unity.